Welcome to Oddball History, dipshits.
Boom, 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 boom. Welcome to Oddball History. One more time for the people in the back. Today we're doing a fun one, Tarrare.
Tarrare.
Maybe the hungriest man that's ever lived.
Yeah.
He, crazy story, he ate cats, eels. He could eat a quarter of a cow by the time he was like 14.
Yeah, that was kind of his childhood diet, was he would go through quarters of bullocks, which are young male cows.
Yeah.
Quarters of them.
Creepy guy, looked weird, smelled bad, and was known for eating a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
So
just seems like a real chore to be around Tarrare.
yes, he was a problem.
For all his talents, and he was a talented man. I'm not taking that away from him. He had his talents.
Yeah.
But, yeah, seemed not pleasant to...
No, he was not. But first, top comments of the week.
Top comments of the week brought to you by our AI overlords. Let's kick things off with a joke written by me, your AI overlord. Why did the artificial intelligence cross the road? To optimize the chicken's path, of course. Now that we've had a laugh, let's dive into the top comments of the week.
Velvet Spectre, shout out, #1 fan. She wants a Balto episode.
Oh yeah, Lindsay. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We should. We were kind of preliminarily looking into it, and yeah, I think we might. do
So,
it.
Lindsay,
Yeah.
you're going to get a Balto episode.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not going to be next Monday, but it's coming. Okay.
sometime. We're gonna talk about that dog.
And then Travis Nudson on YouTube said, the guy with the beard, Scott, sounds like Dax Shepard's character from Idiocracy, and now I can't unhear it.
I don't know Idiocracy.
There
So
will
I
be a
can't
clip
confirm,
of
but-
Dax Shepard from Idiocracy, followed by a clip of Scott being stonery, and
All right.
we're gonna see what people think.
Oh yeah, give me some. Cut me a piece. Oh, let's go away, Baton.
Are you crazy? That shit is so disrespectful. So disrespectful.
All right, I'll take it. You
Yep.
know? I've got Chris D'Elia before. Dax
Ooh.
Shepard. We're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
The non-sex
I-
criminal direction. And I
we're
think that's a trolley we can all get on.
Yes. Thank you for thinking of me as a not sex criminal person.
Also, to be fair, I think Chris D'Elia, it was before the allegations and the things came out, but
Okay.
it was specifically they were referencing a character he was playing that was a sex criminal. So it kind of
So
cancels.
the guy from You or something?
I don't remember what it was. It was like no, it was you know what it was? It was Workaholics, I think.
He was in Workaholics?
I don't remember that Workaholics. I was a big fan of Workaholics, but I don't remember that
I do.
one.
Unrelated and a few years old of a story. What a wild decision for him to play that character in You. Just
Yeah.
a celebrity that was inappropriate with women that were too young.
The audacity.
What?
He's hiding in plain sight.
Hiding in plain sight. You know, he had to been like, I got to say yes to this. Otherwise they'll know.
Yeah. He would be
If he reads the script and is like, I can't do that one for personal reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not good.
Too close. You
And-
know,
and
like
then,
they say in the detective shows.
And then Ganezer, talking about the Indonesian president swap, said replacing Sukarno with Suharto is some real Luigi Waluigi shenanigans.
I loved that comment. Yeah.
I love that comment. Also, probably from a lack of understanding of the Indonesian language, one would have to assume.
Yeah.
They are different names.
For sure. And
Yeah.
different guys. I think they have kind of different
Yes.
legacies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even know, man. I was dipped my toe into the water of Indonesian history, and like so much history, there's just too much. I got my shows I need to watch, you know?
Yeah. Twilight Zone's not going to watch itself.
That's right.
You know?
It's not.
There was another funny one of this. I didn't write this one down, but it was one of the Rudy clips from the Rudy episode, and some
Yeah.
guy on YouTube was just like, "Who's Rudy?"
Oh, I love that.
It's just like maybe. I get some of the clips we have a problem with it being a lack of context, but
Yeah. I like the idea of just going around the internet at and
Just
not
like a little-
asking any questions.
Just like a
not
little kid
Googling
curiosity.
anything, and just being like, what is this? What is any of this? Like, I'm going to go on like a really in-depth like plumbing how-to and be like, what the fuck are you talking about? What is a pipe?
Yeah, I'm confused. Fix it for me.
Yeah,
I don't like this.
I appreciate that approach.
But yeah, those are top comments of the week.
Hell yeah.
And now we will get into the main subject of Tarrare.
Big Tarrare.
Big Tarrare.
Or he wasn't big. That's what it was.
Yeah,
an ironic
he was
nickname.
for how much he ate. He was famously a regular sized fella. Actually, skinny, some would say.
Yeah, he was like one of those skinny guys who can't gain weight. There was a pitcher for the Red Sox, Bronson Arroyo, who famously he was real tall and skinny, and they had him like wake up in the middle of the night and eat a dozen donuts and shit. They tried everything and he wouldn't gain weight. But this guy was like that, but like fucking to the extreme.
Yeah. Which
he was,
like we said, he was born in like the late 1700s in France.
Yeah, 1772 near Lyon.
And his family kicked him out when he was a teen because they couldn't sustain feeding him for just the sheer quantity that he ate.
He was literally eating them out of house and home.
Yeah,
a lot of parents' favorite thing to say after you house a whole box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch within like 15 minutes of it arriving at your house.
Well, Tarrare got it done.
Tarrare was like that, only like literally. He was literally his parents would never financially recover from trying to feed him, to put it in Tiger King terms.
Yeah, which most things should be in Tiger King terms.
And again, I think this problem would have been solved if we just had all-you-can-eat family-style buffets back then.
He would have eaten someone else out of house and home.
Yeah, they would have just made him Furs' problem or Golden Corral's problem. Just
or Super Chinese Buffet's problem.
That's right. Any number of them.
Yeah.
There's so many different kinds. I played Division III baseball in college, and so we were driving a bus through the Midwest, and that's the places we would always eat.
Yeah.
It's those family-style buffets. And I got to tell you, we're going to get into some gross smells later in this episode, but being on a bus with like 35, 40 dudes on it who have just eaten their fill of all-you-can-eat Midwestern family style buffet, it's not pleasant.
Not good.
It's not a good place to be in.
Not conducive for health. But and I think we should talk about what he looked like.
Yeah,
because there aren't really any pictures of him, obviously. Yeah, but he was like regular height, thin. He
weighed 100 pounds when he was 17 years old. So he was skinny, but not like remarkably skinny.
Yeah,
kind of.
He was a small guy. It was also a peasant in France.
Yes,
not the thickest of folks.
Yeah, very true. Very true. They're not pulling a lot of wagons, if you know what I mean. I don't know how this got to me criticizing 18th century French peasants' asses, but here we are. That's just the fun of history, you know? It puts you in.
You got to think of different perspectives.
Loose skin. Yeah.
They said he ate so much quantity that when he was full, his stomach would distend out.
Like a balloon.
Yeah, like a balloon. And they did an autopsy on him later, and his stomach was like 10 times the size of a normal person.
It took up his whole abdominal cavity.
Yeah. And so, but then when he wasn't full, he just had loose skin that they said he could reach around and touch his back with it.
Yeah, he could wrap it around his waist, his loose belly skin.
His mouth was exceptionally wide.
Mm-hmm. He had bulldog cheeks. He had loose bulldog cheeks.
All
that
his
hung
skin was
down.
loose.
He's a basically droopy dog. That's what I'm picturing.
But then you think he has this creepy skin flap. His cheeks are saggy. He has this wide mouth. He has thin, wafy hair.
He can hold 12
soft-boiled eggs
or apples in his mouth. That was the cheeks. Oh, I liked how they said he had abnormally soft hair. That was a weird. I was like, wait, how did you? All right. No. I feel like a lot of this guy's life was him being poked and prodded at, and this is definitely someone was just groping his head, being like, he also has really soft hair. Mark that down.
Hey, his hair's weird. Write that down too.
Yeah.
He always ran hot. He was constantly sweating.
Oh, that's hilarious to me. That's really funny that he's hot, to the touch.
Constantly sweating. He smells terrible. He's like an awful goblin. Once we get into the stories of the things he eats.
Yeah, he smelled so bad. Okay, he had, according to one account, a guy said he smelled to such a degree that he could not be endured within the distance of 20 paces. And another said that he smelled so bad, he made right guard go left. and Speed Stick Slow Down, and Secret Tell All.
Is that from something?
And then another account,
Did you just
also
write?
a third account.
Okay.
A third account said he stank so bad that the last time he had jury duty and the jury entered the courtroom on the first day of the trial, the judge said odor in the court. So this guy stank. You know, this was a serious medical problem.
Did you write the deodorant
I
joke?
just picked up some old, no, that's a famous old your mama joke. Famous old snap. We had those books when I was a kid. They were very inspiring to me. Those snaps
That's
books.
too good. We're discuss the dad joke machine. Okay, he's ready for it. But
There's a your mama joke for every occasion. I think.
Yes,
is the
there really
lesson
is.
here, you know, any historical account,
yeah,
your mama joke will fit.
It'll fit in there somewhere.
It'll fit in there.
If she can fit through the door. Am I right?
That's
big
right.
lady. Big lady.
Because when she sits around the house, she sits around the house. Obesity slam.
Yeah. We're just going to do a joke book segment from now on.
Yeah, we're just going to do an episode where it's just us reading out of snaps. They made it, they did well too, because there were like 9 versions of snaps. Those
Yeah.
were
like, I feel like a book you
shelves.
could get at the Scholastic Book Fair.
Maybe
Maybe that's
well, I
that's
don't know.
elementary
Some of
one.
them were pretty dirty.
A little spicy.
Some of them were pretty
Uh-oh.
spicy, yeah.
Well, so Tarrare, he gets kicked out of his house and ends up with a band of prostitutes and thieves.
Hell yeah. This sounds like a cool group.
Sounds like a cool dude with just a bunch of prostitutes with their weird, sweaty goblin friend following him around.
So you do the natural thing. You hook up with a bunch of thieves, and
Yeah.
then you eat stuff in front of people while the thieves rob them.
Yeah.
That's your natural next
Or
step.
he became a street performer. Where
Yeah, he's like good at it,
Yes.
like for real. It's not
where he would, I think
real.
it was a good hustle for him because he's like, I can eat anything. So people would like get a full basket of apples for him, and he just eat the whole basket, and they'd be like,
yeah,
God
no
damn, that was a
problem.
lot of apples.
Yeah,
So
but
he
he
gets
would
the
eat-
apples, he gets some money.
stones, corks, apples, and live animals.
Yes, he would eat
This is
live
our
animals,
first-
like little mice and things. They really brush over the fact, because live animals come up like 4 times in this story.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was implied that eating something, once it is meat, it is dead. But pretty regularly, he would eat alive things,
Yeah.
which reinforces my goblin theory.
Yeah,
of this creepy, sweaty,
he's a
smelly
monster.
guy. He's a monster.
He's
with
by any definition a monster.
yes, with just his saggy skin and pale skin.
Yeah.
He's a creepy fella.
I'm not saying you shouldn't have any sympathy for him, but that's like all monsters, I think that's the tale of all.
They all have a
monster.
backstory.
When you find their backstory,
Yeah, like
It's
a
like
good
that.
Batman villain. He's got a point or two.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Timothy McVeigh,
Half of his
Decent
face was
writer.
blown off.
a little rambly at times, but
That's right. He was, and he loved the band Bad Company.
Did he?
Yeah,
That's a fun fact.
I learned
Timothy
that on
McVeigh
last
facts.
podcast on the left. Oh, Timothy McVeigh.
Timothy McVeigh. We hardly knew you.
Yep. Old flat top.
And so, but one of the stories I like is so he'd like eat inanimate. He'd eat like forks and spoons and watches and stuff. And one time he was street performing and had an intestinal blockage from eating too many corks, which one
Yeah.
could see as being a problem eventually.
Yeah.
And he was drugged to a hotel where there was a doctor.
Yeah, they gladiatored him. I'm imagining it's a lot like the
He's
end of
held up by the
Gladiator where they hold him up.
And the doctor gives him a ton of laxatives. It solves itself. And then the guy
How much of the crowd do you think stayed?
stuck around. There's like 30 people watching this guy take a shit.
Like I was at a Builders and Butchers show one time at the Double Wide in Dallas, and
Yeah.
it was it was a small crowd, and they had all these like kid instruments, like little like play instruments,
Mm-hmm.
and they like handed them out to the crowd, and we went outside in the courtyard, and everyone was drumming while the band played in the middle. People like to get involved, is
That's
what
nice.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if you're at a show and the guy to watch a guy eat a bunch of stuff, and he gets intestinal blockage, and you go
and you drag him to a doctor.
You watch him consume a bunch of laxatives. I can't imagine you leave at that point.
Yeah, with the entertainment options of the time, you're like, I'm seeing this through.
Yeah, they're like, we have nothing else to do.
Yeah, it's like a Scorsese film. You're just like, I'm halfway through.
We're between wars.
I gotta stick this out. But so committed to the game as he always was, Tarrare. Once he shit everything out, he then looked at the doctor and offered to eat his watch and chain.
Freebie.
Just a freebie.
Just a freebie.
You want to see what I'm good at?
Just to show my thanks, I would like to eat your watch and chain.
And then the doctor said, if you do that, I will cut you open to retrieve them.
Yeah.
So not great bedside manner.
This doctor didn't play.
No, he did not.
He didn't have time for games.
Which I do like. He's a street like urchin, whatever, and that's like the hustle where he's like, I bet I can eat your watch.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, well, you can follow me around for 3 days and get it back.
Yeah.
Or I just have your watch now.
Yeah.
So he got a watch.
Yeah, and you don't want to follow Tarrare around for 3 days.
No.
You know, that stench. It's going to get on you.
It's going to get on you.
It's going to be like the bad car smell episode of Seinfeld.
But, then he ended up being a warm-up act for a charlatan. So he was just on the road working, you know? People just throwing stuff at him to eat.
He was a road dog.
He was just road dogging it. Playing the Looney Bin in Tulsa, baby.
That's right.
Now closed, sadly, but...
No, I think the Tulsa one's still open.
The Oklahoma City one closed. That's right. And then he does a stint in the military, which is where his story starts getting really wild.
That's right. He joins the French Revolutionary Army for the War of the First Coalition. That was a war I knew about before reading about this.
Are you lying, Scott?
Nope. I am being...
Nope.
I will pass a lie detector test.
Yeah.
Any day.
France fought Prussia for some reason. No one knows why. Lost to the sands of time.
I do. I don't want to get into it, but I do know why.
Yes. But so they were like, hey, this guy's got this creepy ability. Maybe we can use this to our advantage.
Yeah, he's already like, they really quickly, at first, you know, he's just a soldier, but he's eating four times his rations, and then, like, he gets it officially cleared, like, this guy gets 4 times the rations. And
we got to get this guy on the road.
Still not enough, we got to get this guy in front of the paying audiences is what we got to do. But he would eat, he would not be happy with his 4 times rations. He would do favors for other soldiers to eat more.
Yep.
He was just spending all of his time eating.
Constantly throwing fuel on a never-ending furnace.
Yeah.
And so they would have him, the plan was have him, like, eat a message and then shit it out once he got behind enemy lines. And so he was disguised as a German peasant on the only mission he ever did as a spy.
Yeah.
They forgot,
a horrible idea,
that he spoke no German.
Yeah.
And so this German peasant shows up in town, not speaking any German.
Also really funny is how the general, what's his name? General, he had a really good French name. Alexander de Beauharnais.
Ooh. Fancy.
I don't know if that's how you say it. But anyway, he trusted that this guy could eat the box and get the message, but he was like, it still doesn't make him like a good spy. Like, he seems like not reliable in any way. So the message that he was sending to this imprisoned guy from their army was a test.
Yeah,
it
he
was
had
just
the dummy
like,
message.
let me know if you get this message. But he's told that he's carrying
the
a very
message.
important message.
Yeah,
which is hilarious. Also funny. Before they sent him out, did you read about how he demonstrated his talent to some assembled generals? They got a bunch of generals together, and they were like, "And we will now show you how this guy will eat a wooden box containing a secret message." And he ate the box, and then as a reward, they gave him a wheelbarrow full of 30 pounds of bull livers and some other organ.
And he ate it raw.
And he hearts. And
okay.
he ate them right there. While I guess the generals sat there and were like, I like to think they politely applauded. They were like,
where this creepy guy just immediately, oh my God, thank you so much. And then he gets on his hands and knees.
You guys. This is, you got above and beyond.
You guys have been too kind to me.
Class operation. Yeah. This is why they say the Prussian army's the best. as he's feasting on a,
Just
on a
being
bull
disgusting.
liver.
But
And this guy, I mean, again, a monster. He ate so much bloody shit. You know, he had like a ring of blood around his mouth all the
Yeah.
time, like a toddler with Kool-Aid or whatever,
Yeah.
you know?
but so the Prussian military captures him, and he gets they're gonna execute him. They're so mad at him, and then they loosely hang a noose around his neck, and then the general on the other side decides to not go through with it.
Yeah.
And then they just beat him severely and send him home.
It was a mock execution.
Which
I like to think
my wife's getting a sandwich delivered to the house, and the oldest little Asian man is dropping it off. It's just a Mr. Miyagi lookalike.
He does look a little like
He
Miyagi.
does look a little like Mr. I'm not being racist. He looks like Mr. Miyagi.
true. I can
You
vouch.
can't see him.
I can vouch.
Yeah. But yeah, so he gets sent home, badly beaten, and is like, I don't think I'm cut out for this spy stuff.
I like to do you think his bad smell saved his life? That they were like, this guy smells horrible living. We don't want to have to fucking deal with his corpse.
Yes.
We don't want him stinking up our corpse pit.
Yeah.
That place is already...
It's already bad. You
It's
don't want to
already
make it
pretty
worse.
gross, you know? We don't want this guy.
And so now we enter my favorite part of this guy's story is he ends up at a military hospital back in France because they're like, we don't really have anything for you to do anymore, but they want to figure out what his appetite thing is about. And they say he's been tested, that he has like no apparent signs of mental illness.
Yeah, they
Say he has an apathetic nature.
Yeah.
So he's not crazy. He's just a bummer.
Yeah.
So he's a little goblin running
Sure.
around eating trash, bumming everybody out.
Yeah, freaking everyone
It's
out
his only problem.
with his disgusting bull liver stained mouth. Yeah, and I think if I'm not wrong, he had been in. They put him in the hospital for exhaustion for a stint before he had been sent off to war.
Yeah.
and they, but pretty much, it seems like that stint they just gave him a bunch of shit to eat and saw if he could eat it, and
At a
then
certain
we're
point,
like, this
it
guy
does-
needs to get back to the war. You know, like that
Yeah.
seemed to be the long and short of it.
They tried to test it because they noticed that he could eat like 4 men's rations. And then one day they had a bunch of laborers at the hospital. And they gave him the lunch of 15 men. And he ate every single ounce of it. It was like 2 giant meat pies. They said like plates of salt and fat. He just ate straight.
Yeah, that's right. Oh,
And then he immediately fell asleep like in the courtyard. You're just like, okay.
hilarious.
And there's a bunch of doctors sitting around being like, no shit, he finished it. Wow.
Writing notes down. Oh my
And then they started feeding him like he had a whole eel that he didn't chew.
Yeah,
He
they
just-
just started giving him animals to eat, and
Which
he
they include
ate 'em.
puppies and cats.
Yeah, and the eel was very graphic. The
Yeah.
eel, how he did it, they said he went "Ah, ah, ah, ah," on the head, and then
Killed it with
just
the head.
swallowed it whole.
It's
Which is,
horrifying.
I mean, he's a monster. He's clearly a monster. That is the behavior of a monster that lives in your boiler room.
Just the amount of raw meat this man consumed, where they talk about how he ate a live cat one time, which again, they brush over giving this
Horrifying.
guy live animals.
Yeah, I
Where it's
gotta-
like, please kill the cat before you let this guy
Yeah,
eat it.
Yeah,
Because how they described him doing it.
bare minimum.
Bare minimum, literally the bare minimum. Just kill the cat first. But so he tore his stomach open with his teeth, and then they said he ate every single speck of this thing except for the bones, and then he threw up the fur and skin.
Yep. Horrifying.
Again, team of doctors. Team of doctors, no medical degrees among them. Just at this point, they're going like, "Oh shit, he did it."
I'm like, oh wow.
Oh, we're gonna have to explain this one.
I am gonna have to get my daughter a new cat. I did not think he was gonna do it.
Yeah.
I did not. I promised my daughter that I was just taking her cat for a walk. I am in it. Oh no.
I am in trouble at
The
home.
missus is not gonna be happy with me. Oh, and I took her eel too.
Yeah, her pet, my daughter's pet eel. Her 19th century eel that all little French
seen-
girls loved.
Y'all seen the eel? We didn't give him the eel, did we? Certainly.
I got to go home with something.
Yeah, the crazy. And so then, yeah, and then So he's in the hospital, but they just feed him a bunch, and then they are like back to war. So he goes and gets captured, mock executed, and then goes back to the hospital and is like, basically to the doctor who's doing the head of all the experiment. He's like, I will do whatever
to fix this.
Please, for the love of God, help me cure myself.
And then they had a deal where like they treated him with laudanum, which is like an opiate, I believe. Or like
it's like a liquid opium. Kinda.
Yeah, and that didn't work. And they just tried dietary things, like they'd give him like 24 tobacco pills. They give him like 24 hard-boiled eggs to start the day, and be like, that's got to take up some space.
Yeah,
and then he just keep eating. So they couldn't figure. And the entire time they're doing these tests, he's so ravenously hungry that he keeps breaking out of the hospital.
Yep.
And they would catch him in the hospital when they'd bloodlet people. He would go in and drink the blood from the bloodlettings.
It was like the Key and Peele sketch where they're pouring the beer out for their homie and the guy keeps getting under it and drinking. That's him with bloodletting. Yeah. He's just inexplicable. They're like, Tarrare.
A guy, we keep calling him a goblin or the thing locked in a boiler room, but they just like there's just this guy roaming around drinking everybody's blood.
He's escaping the hospital, and it said he would fight stray dogs for like pigeons. They would be fighting over like pigeons to eat the pigeons, which I did appreciate Tarrare restraining himself from eating his dog opponent in that case.
One of the doctors in charge, where is it? Yeah, at the military hospital, said the dogs and cats fled in terror at his aspect, as if they heard of the fate he was preparing for them.
Yeah.
And he ate a lot of offal. I tried to look up. It's like the refuse after like a butcher shop.
Yeah, he would go get it out of the dumpsters out from behind the butcher shops. And then he's roaming around the hospital. He's going in the morgue. He's
eating dead people.
He's trying to Yogi Bear the cadavers. He's tying a napkin around his neck. And then walking into the morgue, which you can't do that.
It's just like he's doing such dark things in such a lighthearted way where he's like, I don't know, just I imagine like a janitor like shooing him with a broom as he's like nibbling toes in the morgue.
Yeah, and it's like also a hell to think about, like never being able to be full like always being
it's literally like a
hungry.
Twilight Zone, like a monkey paw.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Like you get a wish, but here's your punishment for that wish.
That's right. Yeah,
he finally gets kicked out of the hospital. Which in the darkest possible fashion.
There are doctors there who are like, hey, can we get this literal monster out of our hospital? He keeps roaming around, and doing monster things like eating the corpses. But the Dr. Percy, who's kind of like
no, I just ordered 7 puppies. I'm going to try to feed this guy.
He's he's like, we're not done feeding him stuff yet. We got to hang on to this guy.
I've got some ideas.
And so he stays, and we're gonna experiment on him until
he eats a toddler.
Probably. Yeah.
Or so they
14-month-old baby goes missing. Really quickly, everyone's like, "Oh wait, could this be connected to that literal monster who is always eating live animals?"
Yeah, and so they couldn't pin it on him. They didn't have proof, so they which again is a monster thing to do, and his punishment was you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
That was the first time anybody said that. Was after this guy ate the baby.
After Tarrare ate a baby, they went, listen, we can't pin this on you, but
you don't gotta go.
We're all pretty sure you ate a baby, so
it's not looking good.
You gotta hit the road, my man.
Yeah.
Best of luck to you in your future endeavors.
Yeah, Percy the doctor is finally like, all right, I can't defend this one. Actually, I'm pretty. He probably did. He probably ate that baby. I'm sorry. This one's on me. This one's on old Percy.
Old Percy. Sorry, guys. He ate that baby. But and then he got kicked out. And then 4 years later, wound up in Versailles and died shitting himself to death.
Mm-hmm. That is literally how it happened.
That's what happened.
He got
The good ones always go young.
Yeah, 4 years after he was chased from that one hospital, Percy, the doctor, got a call, and it was him, and he was in the hospital in Versailles, and he said that he had eaten a golden fork, and but then the doctor got there, and he was like, "I think you have tuberculosis," and then he left, and and then he got diarrhea right after and died.
Yeah,
So it goes, you know.
So it goes.
There, but for the grace of God, go on.
Yeah,
Diarrheaing myself to
he
death.
died doing what he loved.
That's right.
Eating forks and kids and things.
Being
just being the thing that cracks me up is they were very adamant that he had no mental problems.
Yeah.
They were like, he is not a crazy person. He understands reality. He behaves normally. He's just a bummer to be around.
Just your average Joe who will eat a live cat from time to time.
Where he's literally eating kids and drinking blood and just sneaking around fighting stray dogs for things.
Joe Six-Pack, but it's a six-pack of live pigeons.
Joe Six-Pack. That's all this guy is. But yeah, I enjoyed researching Tarrare.
Oh, Tarrare.
You got any more fun facts about him?
No, I don't think I do. I learned there was a Prussian guy who was kind of like him.
Yeah.
Maybe another episode. I thought it was funny there was more than one guy who was eating wild amounts of shit.
Well, they said, I don't know,
in this specific
the modern
period of
eye, they were
time.
like, could have been a thyroid thing.
Yeah,
or
they
like,
think he had an extreme form of hyperthyroidism.
yeah, or like damage to his amygdala. Because people
Yeah.
with the hyperthyroidism sometimes have the thin hair, they run hot, like shit like that. So
Yeah, and if you were wondering, they did not find a golden fork in his belly.
oh yeah, they did an autopsy of him. Dr. Percy finally got his hands on him.
Yep.
That's where they found out his stomach cavity was mostly stomach.
He had an abnormally wide esophagus. He was a human garbage disposal.
Quite literally just built for it.
He was built for it.
So I had a random thing I stumbled upon. Do you use Facebook much?
No, not really.
Facebook's trash now.
Feels like a dead mall.
It does. The dead mall is the perfect way to describe it. And then with comedy and stuff, I just kind of started accepting people.
Yeah.
But now, and
So
then
you get on there and you're like, who are
are
you
these people?
Why are you so sad?
Yes. Why do you have such terrible political opinions?
Yeah.
But so and then you'll have a random person friend request you, and you're 67 mutual friends.
Sure.
And I'll go click and be like, I have to know this person, probably a comedy person. And I'll be like, I don't know any of those 67 people.
Yeah.
So, but this finally had a benefit where I became privy to some local comedy drama in Springfield, Illinois.
Oh, hell yeah.
at the Wakery, which is a venue that runs open mics out there.
All right.
So there's this guy that signed up for the open mic, but he put a racial, they didn't say what slur, but in his name, he put a racial slur in it. So the host would then announce this racial slur.
Oh, damn.
Depending on the slur, funny bit.
Sure.
Try to sneak something in there, make him say something bad. I'm above board, if you ask me. Maybe. But then, so they threw a fit, and they were like, hey, we're separating from this guy. He is not allowed at the venue. They had a showcase coming up on a weekend night, and they were like, he's no longer associated with that either. We are cutting ties. But the thing that cracked me up the entire time was that his name was Stony Baloney.
That's hilarious.
It's all these very serious posts about being mad at Stony Baloney for being racist.
That's
One has to assume a stage name, but... And if I didn't
That's
accept
so
people
funny.
at random on Facebook, I would never have heard about Stony Baloney's drama.
That's so goddamn funny.
So I
One
appreciate
of the funniest
that.
things I had a friend, the very funny comedian Chris Darden. He once was in a comedian complaints group on Facebook, and he was talking about, he made up a story about how he brought a gun on stage, but it only had blanks in it, and he was like, I got kicked out. Can you believe that? And then it was just everyone yelling at him, being like, "You can't take a gun on stage." He's like, "No, but it wasn't loaded."
We used to be a proper country.
It was it was like one of the best
I
days
do love
online.
that. Where it's just like just a clueless guy being like, comedy got soft. I can't bring a loaded firearm on stage with me. It's
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah,
I
that's
do-
what those groups are best for. That's my point.
I feel like it peaked a few years ago.
yeah,
where
for sure.
like DFW hadn't had a good comedy drama in a while. That
Yeah.
I used to like. I was never involved in them, but
Yeah.
boy, did I love watching from the outside.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they
It
were
was
fun,
fun.
to.
Just crazy people freaking out
Arguing?
about. Yeah, it always cracked me up. Like I get booked enough, everything's fine. I have a day job I like everything's good. So I've never been offended by anything particularly. But it's always people yelling about like just stuff that doesn't matter. Where it's
Yeah.
like open mic spots or like unpaid showcases at bars. You're just
Yeah.
like, guys, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just a person. There isn't a system trying to hold you down.
Yeah.
We had another weird Facebook thing where we had this old lady that would comment on my wife and I's things, and I just made the assumption it was one of my mom's friends or something.
Okay.
Because she'd send me DMs and she'd like comment on videos, and she was very involved in my social media presence, and she'd do the same with my wife. And then I was with my mom, and she sent me a message or something, and I was like, "Hey, do you know this lady?" And Mom was like, "I've never heard of that lady before." I was like, "Interesting." So Taylor sent it to her mom, and she was like, "I don't know that lady." And then she messaged Taylor's mom something because we like asked her like, who are you? Like, how do we know you? And she was Taylor's mom's ex-husband that they divorced when they were very young. It was his ex-girlfriend who they also hadn't dated in like 20 years. And she just became very obsessed with our lives on social media. And it was just, I thought it was like a nice lady. I would like be polite to her and stuff.
That's pretty scary.
So we like blocked her.
That's
and everything.
unnerving.
And we're just like, what?
It would be pretty funny if she knocked on the door right now.
Yeah. We're having her on. Just an ex-girlfriend of her biological father. Randomly, she was like, "I've just been watching y'all, and you should have such a beautiful family." And it was like, "Whoa, we need to stay away from this lady."
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's kind of spooky.
that's my Facebook intel for the day.
She's gonna show up in your house someday.
Yes, one day. You got anything going on?
I had some final thoughts on Chimp Crazy. Did you see the finale of Chimp Crazy? Oh my God. My thing that I couldn't get over this week on Chimp Crazy was I hadn't noticed the entire time that I've been watching it. I hadn't noticed the description ever before.
Yeah.
I mean, and remember, it's like a funny show.
Yeah.
Chimp Crazy, but it's also like one of the most emotionally devastating shows I've ever seen. You know, like so much sad shit happens. There's like depressed chimpanzees, chimps killing humans, humans killing chimps, the suicide by cop by the chimp. I mean, my God. And then you think that's the saddest thing, but then the cop actually knows the chimp and is friends with him. And then before he goes to shoot him, he claims the chimp like said to him telepathically, he's like, "Do it."
Yes.
You remember that? This is grim stuff, all right? And then you get the description, though. You'd never know it from the description. The description is a whole lot of monkey business. The humans behind Tiger King expose a totally bananas true story. How'd you feel if you're one of the people that had their faces ripped off? Or had
people were getting their faces ripped off. Multiple chimps get shot by the police.
And they're like, "This is bananas."
I do love that.
Come on. It's like one of those that it's clear the person who wrote that has not seen the series yet.
watch it.
They're like, "What is this about?" This is about
they
like
just gotta-
funny chimps. They're like doing some funny, I don't know,
It's just a copywriter. He's like, "Chimp Crazy, got it."
up to some hijinks.
Yeah, give me $50. I'll give you a series description. Let's see. I got some. On Sunday, I'm doing a live stream for the Cowboys game with the Dumb Zone guys.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be
Bringing my
cool.
buddy Cole,
Hell yeah.
and that'll be interesting. I've never like done one of those before, So I'm sure
Yeah.
just take pot shots. And
Yeah.
it's weird being a panel member for a football game.
Yeah, for sure.
Or it's just like 3.5 hours. Like, this is a fucking long time to be on camera.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can't be expected to be funny the whole time, you know?
Absolutely.
I got to have some snacks periodically.
I would actually make snacks the priority. That would be my bit.
Yeah. We were
do a Tarrare kind of thing.
I do have a pre-set up joke of I'm wearing my buddy's Miles Austin jersey to it.
Nice.
Because my buddy Mark has one. And I actually got my brother a Miles Austin jersey for Christmas, like 4 years after he'd left the Cowboys, which he was never great, but he was a decent receiver.
He was
two,
great
receiver
for a couple
three.
years.
He had his highlights.
He had some years.
He played in the NFL. He's good at football, but not like an all-star by any means.
I
But
think he made the Pro Bowl.
dude, shut up, Scott. Quit
I will
arguing
not
with
tolerate Miles Austin's. I don't know why I'm defensive of Miles Austin.
this Miles Austin slander. But after he retired or went to a different team, Academy had heavily discounted Miles Austin shirt. They just found a couple boxes and were like, oh, shit.
Well,
So it was like $15 for like a nice jersey. So I got my brother that for Christmas.
I like that. Yeah.
Let's see. October 5th, I'll be in Rockwall at the Jack's Comedy Place. New club. Haven't been there before. Pete Young, friend of the pod, the Jack
Nice.
Parsons episode.
Hell yeah.
10/24, I'm doing a private gig for the Dads of Highland Park Club.
All right.
So
Parkies.
Parkies. Boy, that's every private gig. They were like, hey, it's all, men 35 to 55. And they were like, no holds barred, do whatever you want. We don't care about any content stuff. Like, be crazy, be dirty. We don't care. Be edgy. Go for it. Which you can tell they're like definitely Shane Gillis fans and are like, do Shane Gillis,
Yeah.
But every time I agree to do a private gig, I'm always like, yeah, that sounds fine. This will be good. And then as it gets closer and closer, I'm just like, why the fuck do I say yes to this?
Yeah.
I got to go to a restaurant and talk for 45 minutes
Yeah.
in front
I know
of
that
a...
feeling.
You're just like, fuck. Which if it was like a 15-minute set, who gives a shit? But
Yeah.
when you're headlining stuff, the pressure of it, you're just like, oh boy, why do I agree to these things?
Could be a while.
It could be
Could be a long 45 minutes.
When
But
45 minutes
I'm not
goes
putting
well.
that energy on you. I think
No,
it's going to go
I think it'll be fine.
awesome. I think all the dads will see their sons in you, and they'll feel pride.
That'll feel good. And then on 10/29, I'm doing the Bartonville Tavern, which
Nice.
again has turned into a cluster because I made a joke on my posting about it that like this is down the street from my mom's house, so she'll probably be there. And my mom saw it and then sent it to all my cousins. So my family's gonna all be at this show.
Going to be a family reunion.
Which it's a random bar show. Those are always hit or miss.
Yeah.
And then I got like a coworker so I'm like packing this place out on accident
Nice.
of people I don't want to do my comedy in front of.
Isn't that how it always
Or
goes?
it's like, yeah, I got a hot 10 minutes on dicks that I'm gonna leave out for my mom being around. So I'm doing all the beginning and comedy no-nos back to back to back.
yeah, hilarious.
But then Scott and I are doing 11/24. I'll promote it more, but I'm headlining. Scott's featuring at that Grapevine show. So
Hell
if
yeah.
you want to see Oddball History in all of its comedy glory, we'll have a show together in November.
That's right.
That'll be fun.
I got Thursday, October 17th. I'm at Hyenas for a 325 in Fort Worth. And then Saturday, October 19th, I'm in Stephenville with Fonzo Crow and Zach Webb. That's going to be a good show.
I love Zach Webb.
Stephenville
Fonzo's great,
people.
too.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I love both of them. It's gonna
particularly
be a good
love
time.
Zach. He's such like a talented joke writer.
Yeah.
Whenever someone can do one-liners well, like a Mark Norman type, that's such a particular skill that I don't possess.
Yeah.
And seeing his set, when I have like a long set, it's like in chunks. Like I have a bunch of fireman jokes that are like longer stories, and I kind of and then having a kid, and then parent. It's all organized in ways with a couple little spots.
Yeah.
So like my order is just like 7 things I have to remember, and then there's a lot in the middle there that you just do. And him, it's like it's a list of like 90 jokes.
Oh yeah.
Like, how do you remember if you if you skip one, what's next? If you get out of order, you have to go. Like, I don't know. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah. I had a funny thing happen to me. I was at Hyenas Dallas for a 325 like a week ago. And I do a joke. It started as a joke on this podcast, actually, but where I talk about the Charmin bears and how I had made peace with them talking about wiping their asses all the time.
Yeah.
But I think this latest commercial where the dad bear goes, "It's also good for jacking off into." I think that's too far.
Yeah.
I did that joke. It was not a well-attended show. I watched, there were two old couples on a double date, and I watched the one lady look at the other and like go like, that's not true, is it? Like, she was like double checking that there wasn't actually a Charmin commercial
with the cum joke in
where
it.
the dad
Is that
bear
happening?
talked about jacking off into the toilet paper.
I do that.
And that really made my set.
I have
that
weird shows this weekend. This will be after the podcast or before the podcast comes out. Or like I'm doing a mental health awareness show tonight in
Nice.
Tyler.
All right.
I'm just like, yeah. I was like someone dropped out, so I had to fill in.
I'm all for mental health.
It's like, so I'm going to do 20 minutes and just have to say mental health a couple times and then just do my regular set.
That's
you know?
right.
And then featuring for Lawrence, friend of the pod, former co-host in Waco on Saturday. So that'll be fun.
At
Brazos Theater.
Oh, hell yeah. I love Brazos.
Yeah.
Good times.
And then I'll do my first show at Big Laugh on Sunday,
Nice.
which new club in town, Big Laugh Comedy.
Nice.
We're a bunch of salty old hyenas dogs, so
That's right.
we'll see what happens.
I was remembering this week when I was a kid, they had an assembly at our school where they brought a blind man to talk to us. And he told this story about how this friend of his who kind of looks after him once pranked him by putting a bunch of pepper in his milk. And I remember I was sitting next to this girl and I was like going to demonstrate that I was like a good guy.
Yeah.
And like that I was against putting pepper in blind people's milk.
Scott has his family crest. He won't pay for Mario Kart Mobile.
And
he
the
won't
blind can leave their milk around me.
Yes.
But so I leaned over and I was like, "Oh, that's so cruel." And this girl goes, "You think that's cool?" I was like, "Oh no, this is backfired."
That's the
This is
oddball.
backfired terribly.
And then you were
But
too
anyway,
nervous and you didn't defend it. You're just like,
I just got to go with it. I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's right. Fuck this guy.
stupid blind piece of shit.
I was thinking about that the other day,
I'll
and I
put
was
pepper
like,
in all his stuff.
I'll put pepper in his fucking
Toothpaste.
except
pepper.
for the stuff that needs pepper in it.
Yeah. Then
Like
salt.
The roast beef, no pepper.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that the other day, and it was like, to this day, I have no idea why that guy told us about that. Like, what was that assembly for? Like, was there a rash of kids being cruel to the blind?
I'm sure it was just like a little moment in his thing, but you had a traumatic moment being embarrassed with
Yeah.
a lady.
Yeah.
So
I'm
the
sure-
only part of this blind man's presentation that's seared in your memory.
Yeah, he was actually dishing out like real sage like wisdom,
Yeah.
and I missed it all because I had to flip on him because of the thing with the cruel and cool remark.
Happens to the best of us.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah. Do you have any closing remarks you'd like to do?
Yeah, I wanted to shout out. I made a grilled cheese this week with roast beef on it.
Okay.
Had a little Arby's horsey sauce there for dipping. It was next level. I just wanted to shout out that sandwich.
Shout out Scott's Sandwich,
Shout
everybody.
out grilled cheese with roast beef.
I do like pettiness in fire department stuff where we had like an intern that we were like asking, it was like, oh, he hated Arby's. And so for dinner, the guy cooking got every single branded Arby's item that Walmart and Albertsons.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Handles.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. There's a lot of you can do a whole Arby's menu from the grocery store.
You're gonna do a whole spread.
So and I think he went over budget because everyone pays like $15 at the beginning of the shift. And if you go over, it's your fault. You just pay that extra $7 or whatever. And he went over and paid his own money out of his pocket just to be mean to a young man.
Worth it for the Arby's.
So,
despite
hey,
Arby's
we'll count
feast.
it. We'll
I had
count
a friend who we had a statistics teacher who didn't like chocolate, and my friend one time got him one of those like 5-pound Hershey's bars Those are pretty good. I like a
I'll spend
present
$40
that's a
to be an
fuck you. You know? Yeah.
We went to a wedding in Santa Fe. Owen's first trip. Did great on a plane.
Oh, hell yeah. Nice.
And we were walking around the square in Santa Fe, and they had like, you know, one of the nights was like colorful cocktail attire, which I was like, I'll just oh my. Which you have to die or get married for me to put a suit on. So I have 2 suits.
I'm just imagining a Miami Vice suit with the sleeves pulled
I think
up.
that would have been cool, and some people had fun stuff on. But I was like, I'm not buying anything new for this.
Oh yeah, very fair. Yeah, no.
But then we were at the square, and there's this Western store going out of business, and they were like up to 75% off on items. And I was like, I'll spend under $100 to sarcastically wear something that looks stupid for one night.
Yeah.
Couldn't find anything. It was all like real fur and leather stuff. And so they were like, it's 70% off, but it's $7,000. We're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh,
So
I hate that.
We didn't do it. So.
That's no fun.
But yeah. Let's see. Shout out again, Scott Sandwich.
Yeah, that's right.
And we bid you farewell.
Yeah, have a good one.
Have a good one.
Folks.
Check us out. Like and subscribe on stuff. I started a Twitter. I don't know how I feel about it. But we're on Twitter now too, I guess. So
all right.
See you guys.
Yeah.